Hi guys, and welcome to this week's video tutorial. Today we will be discussing, we'll be continuing our discussion on the same direction cannons, file chariot with double-headed snake pawns versus black's double rank chariots variation. This will be a continuation of the previous board, and please do go through the previous board if you have not done so. So without further ado, let us begin. Central cannon, same direction cannons, file chariot, rank chariot, and in this board, instead of h8 plus 7, p3 plus 1 is played. This is another way to play this position, and usually it will transposition back to the same position. Comparatively speaking, if computer analysis were used, these two moves would be approximately the same. With p3 plus 1, red would immediately prevent black from playing p7 plus 1 to develop his horse and develop this horse later on. R9 equals to 4, h8 plus 7, so we have transposition back to the same position. Black will develop his horse, it's a proper horse, p7 plus 1, double rank chariots. And this would be the position of discussion for this board. With a6 plus 5, red would adopt a wait-and-see approach. This would follow the military wisdom of Sun Tzu in Sun Tzu's Art of War, whereby Sun Tzu advocated making yourself unconquerable before attacking the enemy to conquer them. Now with a6 plus 5, red would consolidate his defenses and make the lives of these two chariots more difficult. Now, faced with this position, there are two main variations. The first will be r4 plus 5, and the second will be r1 equals to 3. Now, it would not be a good idea for black to immediately play r4 plus 7, thinking that he could play r4 equals to 3 and attack the horse, because red would play e7 plus 9 as a prophylactic measure to protect the pawn and also allow for r9 equals to 7. And if black traded chariots, for example, we can see that black would have used up many moves to move this chariot, only to be traded away from red's chariot that only made one move, and this will result in loss of tempo. So it can be seen in this position, both the red horses are ready to go. Black's horses need development, his chariot still needs one or two moves to be in the open, and red would have gained a considerable advantage. So that is why r4 plus 7 is not advocated. Now let us go to variation A, whereby r4 plus 5 is played. Now this is a natural move to make. Red will target this horse by advancing the chariot, preparing to play r4 equals to 3. This is one of the best intersections that this chariot can move to apply pressure. Now again, red will play e7 plus 9 as a prophylactic move, preparing to protect the horse in this manner. And it will be advised for black to play r1 equals to 6 to move the chariot across the palace and command this very important red file. Now, if r4 equals to 3 were played immediately, black would defend and offer a trade of chariots. Again, if black accepted, it will be a loss of 10 pi. We will now attack r2 plus 6, and black will take the opportunity, red will take the opportunity to adjust his formation to claim advantage. So r4 equals to 3 is not advocated. Instead, r1 equals to 6 is suggested. Usually, red would offer a trade of chariot. It would not be a good idea to play c8 plus 2 now in this situation, as was done in the previous video. Black would again offer the pawn. Red will try to attack with h3 plus 4, but now instead of r4 equals to 3, black would play r4 equals to 2 to attack the cannon. If he played r4 equals to 3, red will now attack the chariot and then retreat his horse to attack this chariot and also attack this chariot at the same time. So this would be a very complicated situation, and black would have a hard time dealing with it. Uh, if let's so R4 equals to 2 is suggested. Black would attack again, and after trading material, because the chariot was now blocking the elephant, the pawn would cross the river, and black would also have gained an advisor in the process. It is very obvious that black would have the significant advantage at this point in time. So that is why R8 plus 2 cannot be played in this situation. This is a very important subvariation to memorize. So R9 equals to 6, we will to offer a trade of chariot, which black would obviously refuse because he will use up too many moves to move this chariot. Red would then protect his horse in this manner, and black would often attack from the central pawn. Now, this is the current training move, or one of the recommended ways of attacking for black in this situation. Now, if R6 plus 5, black will retreat and prepare to attack the chariot. Black will counter with C2 plus 5, forming a skewer. Trade of chariots. Black refuses. Red E7 plus 6. Check. And although in this complicated situation, although both colors were attacking, red's material were very active. This horse would now be threatening to capture the chariot. The cannon would also be threatening to capture the elephant, and there's also c7 equals to 3, etc., etc. There's many possible options. Now it is very obvious that red would now command the initiative. So that is why R6 plus 5 is not advocated. Okay, red will continue with I minus 2. Again, skewer. Because the chariot had not crossed the river, it could offer some protection and counter red's attack much more accurately. Black, it is important for black to capture the cannon at this point in time. And this is a very complicated position. If R2 C2 minus 1, red would attack with R2 plus 6 and probably have the initiative. If he played R6 equals to 8, this would be a mistake because black would deliver a check and gain material. For example, black would gain material. And if C5 plus 3, deliver a check, black would solidify his defenses. Sorry, H6 plus 5, move the horse, develop the horse, threatening to capture the advisor and then the chariot. Black would not bother, threatening to capture the cannon. And now black would play C, retreat the cannon to attack the horse, preparing to trade chariots in this manner. Black would have seized and commanded the initiative. So that is why C2 equals to 5 should be played instead of C2 minus 1 in this complicated situation. And A6 plus 5, threatening a cannon, counter threatening this file, E3 plus 5. Both colors would be mutually pestering each other, and red would have a slight advantage, although he would have to deal with the issue of this horse and the potential attacks from this cannon on this flank. So this rather complicated variation will be variation A, whereby black would attack with R4 plus 5. Variation B, in variation B, R1 equals to 3 is played for this very interesting approach. Now this would be a this concept will be somewhat similar, like winding up a spring and storing a lot of potential energy for this chariot. If the pieces here were moved or traded away, black would be ready to attack this file. Now, this is a crucial move for red to make. Now, he cannot play h3 plus 4 as he did in the previous board because black would now immediately sacrifice the pawn, retreat the horse, and suddenly the power of this chariot is revealed. Now black will try to protect the pawn, counter sacrificing a pawn, threatening to capture the chariot, forcing the red chariot over here. Again, dislodging the red chariot and trading chariots. Red would have used up several moves just to move this chariot. And at this point in time, black horses would have no problem developing. The black chariot was attacking the horse, but most importantly, red's left chariot had not been moved at all. So this loss in tempo would be significant and would have major implications on the game ahead. Black would have seized the advantage, and black can be very satisfied with this situation. So that is why h3+4 should not be played and r2+5 will be advocated. And usually, black will counter with p5+1, preparing to develop both horses from the center for an attack. Red would be capture the pawn for a concise and easy approach to the game. H3+4 can also be considered, but it will be another very complicated variation. Although red would have the slight advantage, but it would not be easy for red to control the situation. H3+5, trade of chariots, dislodging the advisor, fortify the defense, and red would have the slight advantage, although black would still have a very playable game. So this is one of the modern ways of playing the same direction cannons for both colors, and the purposes of the double rank chariots is shown in this example. So let us review the board in the eyes of black. So, same direction cannons, file chariot, rank chariot, d3+1, also the same as h8+7, cross parallel sweep chariot, proper horses, d7+1, double-headed stick pawns, double rank chariots. And in this board, instead of h3+4, red will play f6+5 to adopt a wait-and-see approach. Variation A, r4+5, variation B, r1 equals to 3. And just a reminder, r4+7 is not advocated because black will lose tempi. Variation A, e9+7. The fight will be, the battle, or the focus will be on this flank. Red r1 equals to 6, offers a trade of material. Black refuses, protects, attack along the central file. r6+5 is not advocated because red could easily counter in this manner. r8-2, 2+5 to offer trade of material. c2-1 is not advocated, otherwise it will lead to these very complicated positions, whereby red would be better off. For example, in this situation, black would seize the command in Shidev. Black would be better off in all the varying situations. So c2+5, h6+5, and both colors would be mutually impaired each other. Now, r1 equals to 3 will be variation B in this board. r2+5 is an important move to make. Otherwise, if red played the horse instead, black would have a very open position while black's material would still need much development. The issue of the horse is the major headache. p5+1, change, trade of material. h3+4 is another option, but it will lead to a very complicated position. h3+5, after trading material, we would have the advantage. So this is this is one of the slightly more complicated variations, and it also shows how much the same direction cannons has evolved over the centuries. It's still very common to see similar variations being played nowadays in actual games when the same direction cannons is played. I hope you've enjoyed this short video. If you like the work that I've been doing, please do subscribe to my channel and give me a thumbs up. Thank you.